Greetings, I'm Christopher Mulligan, the Clinical Director and founder of Group Works West. Today will be our fifth and final installment of our YouTube series on limit setting. Today we're going to talk about rewards and consequences. Most parents who have had any contact with behavior interventionists, therapists, occupational therapists, speech and language therapists have been introduced to various reward systems, whether they're in the form of a star chart, other token economy, grab bags, all kinds of ways are out there, and the problem with them in general is that they are used for behaviors that require ongoing reinforcement, and rewards are really best to initiate a new behavior, to get something going, to give some momentum, and then should be phased out. If they remain in place over an extended period of time, the child becomes disinterested in the reward, and the reward has to be replaced, and typically the reward needs to be increased. I like to use reward systems that are powerful, the child is highly motivated to achieve the reward, and that it is short-lived, that it goes on for a week and a half, and then it's phased out. And as I said, I like to use it to initiate a new behavior and give incentive and motivation to try something new. You shouldn't give material rewards for compliance following non-compliance. So if a child is non-compliant and then they comply, they shouldn't be rewarded under those circumstances. They should be rewarded for initial compliance. Praise. It can be very helpful and motivating to some children if it's specific and sincere and authentic, not effusive and not used indiscriminately. It can be, for certain children under certain circumstances, certainly worth giving them really good positive feedback, and as the child is engaged more and is more motivated in the relationship with you, praise can be helpful. Now, consequences. Consequences should be administered for behaviors that are inappropriate, non-compliant, not for behaviors that the child has yet to master or have done accidentally. These are behaviors that you're targeting where the child has committed an infraction, is non-compliant, aggressive, and they're aware of what that rule is, you've made them aware of it, and now there are consequences for it. You don't want consequences to be pulled out of a hat on an indiscriminate basis, on an improvised basis. All consequences should be stated in advance of the behavior, and the child should understand what the consequences are. I'm going to make a general statement about consequences. Most parents use consequences inconsistently. They use them at a level that doesn't actually affect the child. They take a privilege away, they use timeout, they take away a play date, but it's improvised and it doesn't really relate to what that child values. So if you're going to consequence a child, you have to do it in a way that you understand that is meaningful to that child. I always think of the diamond lane that we have here in California. There is a $331 fine for anyone who goes into the diamond lane. And the diamond lane, no one goes in that lane because the consequence is so severe. It doesn't matter what your socioeconomic class is, people just don't go in it. And it's an important way of thinking about consequences. If you're going to use a consequence, think the diamond lane. Think of a consequence that is severe enough, that is serious enough, that your child won't challenge the boundary. If your child hears the consequence and then challenges the boundary, what that really tells you is that the consequence wasn't meaningful enough for children, for your child, or for that particular behavior. So you want to really focus on meaningful, salient, strong consequences that are going to inhibit behavior and create a meaningful, long-lasting boundary. Some people use timeouts, loss of privileges. Then there's natural consequences, like if a child is tardy to school, the consequences, whatever the school does for being tardy. Let's say they miss a field trip that was planned. If a child is unwilling to get dressed, The natural consequences, they will be cold. If they refuse to eat, the natural consequence is hunger. Those are very, very powerful and should be scanned, looked for. Is there a natural consequence associated with behavior? And if there is, that's what you want to use. So keep the rewards powerful and short, and when you are using consequences, make them salient, powerful, important, and focused on a specific behavior of non-compliance, oppositional behavior, or aggression.